So for many of us who've had to go through, extreme psychological and emotional torture in the form of narcissistic abuse, obviously we've developed a little bit of CPTSD, or, maybe if it's not actually CPTSD, it's something similar, some kind of trauma disorder. And, one sore spot for me throughout my life so far is that I've always had significant difficulty functioning in school and workplaces and everything else. In my early school career, I actually was a pretty good student. I got good grades and everything like that. And, I did my homework. I studied for my tests. I got mostly good grades. I was, well behaved and all that stuff. I've had plenty of jobs over the years, but one thing I noticed was, I've had significant difficulty managing the stress that comes along with, not only being in school or having a job, but, just sort of the stress of maintaining it all, right? Like the stress of just the routine, right? Like having to get up on a regular basis and go in and deal with people and just doing it over and over and over. And I've had many times where I just kind of like collapsed in on myself and I just kind of shut down and, quit school or quit, a particular job or something. And or even like in situations, especially in work environments, I've been in customer service for most of my life. I've had, because it's troubling handling stress and dealing, coming from such a dysfunctional, volatile, toxic, foundation in my life and family and all that stuff. My communication skills weren't the best. My emotional processing wasn't the best. So, there were times where like, even if I wasn't sort of overtly like rude to somebody who was being rude to me, one of the big things that I had trouble with was, if someone really bothered me or upset me in some way, I could like hold my tongue, but I wouldn't be able to hide it completely. You know what I mean? And they would sense that and they would get mad even at that. And there were times, where somebody really crossed the line and was getting really abusive with me and stuff. And, I really didn't like do anything crazy, but I kind of like, had a tendency to sort of talk back to people and not put up with their abusive behavior, right? And that just comes from dealing, the environment that I came from. And I always felt really bad about that, but after learning more about CPTSD and having difficulty with handling school and jobs and all that stuff, I realized that, going through narcissistic abuse is extreme. You know what I mean? It takes an enormous toll on your emotions, on your mind, on your psyche, on your ability to function and handle stress. So, the truth is I had to tell this to this was part of my own healing process and part of my own journey to sort of practice self-compassion and sort of a more, loving inner dialogue with myself to counter my inner critic. A big one of my favorite mantras that I use is, it's okay, right? Like if I'm really nervous or feeling overwhelmed or having an emotional flashback, breathing and telling myself it's okay and everything's going to be okay is sort of my go-tos for handling the stress and for calming down. But also, I realized, I had to kind of, treat myself sort of like, I kind of had to create like a loving person, figure like that's sort of imaginary in my own mind to sort of like talk to my inner child and give me some feedback, rational, healthy feedback. And some of that feedback that I got through journaling and stuff like that was, you've been through a lot and it's okay to feel these things that you feel. It's okay to have trouble functioning. A lot of the, I would say probably most of the people, whether it was in school or in personal relationships or at work or something or in my family, that had, where maybe I snapped back in some way or I lost my patience or lost my cool or something. The truth is a lot of those people don't even understand what I've been through, right? Like what, the conditioning, the extreme levels of stress, the abuse, and, they probably haven't had to deal with what I've had to deal with. So, it'd be nice if people understood that, but, the key here for me was understanding myself and having self-compassion. And so I thought I'd go ahead and say that to you, too. Like, if you've had trouble functioning in your life, whether in relationships or school or work or whatever it is, just managing stress, and maybe you're not, able to live a life where you're, I don't know, working on Wall Street, having a 6-figure a year income and having kids and a husband or wife and going to parties and vacations and, all that stuff is stressful too. And I'm single, right? I don't have any kids. I'm not in a relationship currently. And a big reason why is because I really can't handle it long term. You know what I mean? Just sort of constantly like having to be on, or, I'm just, and I have to kind of take it easy. I have to honor my feelings of where I am, and sort of, be okay with that. Maybe I need to take a day off from work once in a while. Maybe I need to, work a job that's, maybe not like a high quality white collar job somewhere in some, corporate company or something. Maybe I need to do something that's a little less stressful, and I'm making a little less money, but I'm working, I'm taking care of my own emotional health and well-being, and I'm doing what's best for me and for my well-being. And that's okay. For so long, my mind would like compare myself to other people and everything. And I had to get over that because, you can't compare yourself to other people, and, you never know where someone is in their life or what they've had to go through. And that includes myself, and that includes you, going through extreme, situations like narcissistic abuse and stuff like that. You've been through unbelievable amount. I mean, it's crazy. It still takes, every day I'm unearthing and processing more of what actually happened and how I actually felt about so much of what happened, and really realizing, really having it set in. You could say like, oh, you've been through a lot. Narcissistic abuse is terrible. And I would say, yeah, that's true. But really realizing it, like emotionally and in your mind, really opening your mind up to what actually happened and how you actually felt. And because there's so much that was just sort of suppressed and split off and denied, and, a lot that was frozen within me. As I processed my feelings and stuff, I realized just how unbelievable, most people don't have to go through the stuff that I've had to go through. I mean, everybody has different challenges in their life, but narcissistic abuse is extreme. It's an extreme, form of going through something in human life, anywhere in the world, frankly, as far as I'm concerned. So, I had to learn to take it easy on myself and remind myself of that it's okay to take it slow. It's okay to take it easy. It's okay to really inquire within and just ask myself, what do I need? How am I feeling? Because, so many of us are taught to just deny our feelings and deny ourselves, whether we're from narcissistic families or not. You just got to kind of pull up your bootstraps and barrel on through for society or whatever, paying your bills and and so many people just, they forget themselves, they lose themselves, and learning how to remember myself and take care of myself, even in little ways, has been so helpful for me and so therapeutic and so healing. And so I wanted to share that with you. It's okay, if you've had difficulty functioning day to day, and whatever that is. Maybe you're unemployed. Maybe that you're doing the best you can. Maybe you're on disability. Maybe you're in government subsidized housing. Wherever you are, it's okay. And if you're worried about yourself, or you're feeling down or bad about your position in life, and you're comparing yourself to others, just remind yourself that you've been through a lot. And anyone who's been who knows what someone else would be doing if they were in your shoes or had to walk the life that you've had to walk. And with that, we will conclude this video for today. If you're interested in learning more about narcissistic personality disorder, narcissistic abuse, or CPTSD, there are helpful links in the description below. If you're struggling with CPTSD and would like to heal and get your life back, Healing from CPTSD also has a course available that will help you to do that in a simple yet powerful way. All links are in the description below.